Hey, everybody. Welcome to the final Engage of 2023. We're so glad that you're here. I'm joined by the ever popular Matt Solomon. I'm Kelly Stone, the CMO here at Channel Program. Matt, what are you wearing today?
I am wearing a Walmart custom Darth Vader uh, holiday Christmas sweater. So I decided to get in the spirit of things.
I love it. And I love that you've gotten multiple uses out of it this season with holidays.
Yes. How about yourself? What are you wearing?
So I dressed to match your sweater. I've been told that this is the ninja from Fortnite. So that's the extent of my knowledge about it. Added the festive hat. So we've got the full festive apparel donned at this point. It feels like it's about that time, right?
Absolutely. And if you're an MSP, most of you are listening in the chat. If you can tell us where you're listening from, that would be a fun way to kind of kick off the holiday spirit of where you're listening in to today.
And let us know if you have snow where you're listening in from.
Yeah. I think I'm a little slow from what I'm being told. Can you hear me okay, Kelly?
I can. You're ever so slightly pixelated, but it kind of goes with the sweater. So I feel like there's a theme coming in here.
Okay. So maybe since I'm a little slow today, why don't you do a little bit of logistical things to explain today's agenda?
Absolutely. So, everybody who's tuning in, we very much appreciate you and thanks for coming along for this ride. Today, as I mentioned, is our very last engage of the year. And so, you're here to anonymously influence the channel through your feedback. What you're going to see today are 4 7-minute pitches, and you're going to view them all anonymously. You keep your anonymity unless you want to learn more from the vendors by joining their breakout sessions today. So, we have a number of breakout sessions after their pitches where you can learn more. And the incentives this time around will get you in the holiday spirit, shall we say. They're very generous. So there's a lot to look forward to. Also, by simply joining as an MSP and participating in the polls throughout, you can get a $15 gift card of your choosing. So make sure that you're participating in those polls and that you stick around until the end where we can gather your information and make sure that you're getting that little extra jingle in your stocking. So moderators, attendees, and vendors cannot see the chat. The public chat is for MSPs only. Keep an eye out for those broadcast messages as we get through that. After each pitch, you're going to have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to fill out the poll before the next pitch displays. So at the end of the presentation, the vendor breakout rooms will be available for 30 to 45 minutes. You can visit as many as you like to potentially take advantage of those incentives. As I mentioned, we've got some really cool things in here. There is a $20 Starbucks gift card for every attendee in ImmyBot's breakout room. Zest MSP is offering a 2-month free subscription with no limit on user counts. Vade has a $500 Amazon gift card, and Datto is giving away a $150 Amazon gift card in a raffle for those who attend the breakout session. So, Matt, I'm hoping that you were able to catch up while I went through all of that. Let me know if I missed anything.
No, I think you hit everything. Just again as a reminder, as an MSP, you can go to multiple breakouts at the end of the event. But I think without further ado, let's bring on our guest host, Mr. Rich Freeman, who many of you will have known from his past at Channel Pro Networks, but now part of Channelholic and Channel Mastered. Rich, tell the people who you are and what you're doing these days.
Yeah, well, as you say, for many years I was at Channel Pro, most recently as executive editor. These days I'm doing two things. I am writing a blog of my very own called Channelholic, which folks can find at channelholic.news. And I'm also part of a consultancy called Channel Mastered that works with vendors and helps them build or perfect MSP channels.
Excellent. And we see you gotten into the festive spirit as well with a sweater.
Yes, indeed, and unfortunately you can't make out the best part in terms just due to how I'm framed here. But just out of view, you would see 4 elves walking single file through a crosswalk, exactly like the cover of the Beatles album, Abbey Road.
Nice.
And yes, for those who wonder, one of them is barefoot.
I love the commitment to detail. It's amazing.
I checked
Absolutely.
before buying.
Yeah. So Rich will be joining us in between the speakers as the polls are up. We'll be chatting about some industry things and yeah, I think Kelly, we can probably jump right into the first one. This is an abbreviated version of Engage. It's the last one of the year, and we've got 4 vendors, so it's going to be kind of a quick version of it, but I think a really digestible one as we get into the holiday spirit.
Excellent. Do you want to do the honors or shall I?
For this gentleman, I will do the honors. And I know we've
All
already
right.
got a great crowd. We've already got over 80 people here live joining us today. So up next, or starting things off, is Michael De Palma, VP of Channel Development at Datto and Kaseya. He joined the business development team in February of 2016. His role includes representing the company at trade shows and conferences across North America. So many of you know him. He did a lot of MDF events and things like that. But he loves educating managed service providers on the value of business continuity solutions. And that is what he's going to talk about here today. So Michael, stage is yours, my friend.
All right. Sounds good. Everybody sees my screen. I didn't get the memo about the holiday sweaters, but next year I will do that. So thanks, Matt. Yeah. So I'm Mike De Palma. I'm Vice President of Business Development now for Kaseya. As Matt mentioned, I've been with Datto about 9 years through the acquisition. I'm now under the Kaseya umbrella. And, it was interesting when I started 9 years ago, I started on the sales team. So I covered Southern California. And at the time we had just made an acquisition, Backupify. So backup for O365. And that was the main focus for the whole company at the time. And, so we had a lot of conversations with MSPs at the time. Now we're talking about 2015. And the biggest hurdle wasn't about the technology. It was mostly that I was hearing from partners, I can't sell this. How do I go back into one of my clients and say, hey, we now need to start backing this up? It was an interesting hurdle. So when I joined the biz dev team in 2016, we kind of took this on the road and we started going out in MDF events and starting to talk about the shared responsibility model. And now you fast forward to 2023, just about every single MSP I talk to is backing up their O365, whether it's through one of our products or one of the competitors. It now has become kind of the standard. And what we're seeing now is this shift across the board to the cloud. Now, obviously, I lived and breathed on-premise data for years and years. And every time I'd be at a booth, I'd get MSPs coming up saying, this is a dying industry. You've got to start shifting to Azure, to AWS, and those type of things. Now, as an aside, that the on-premise data is still growing on a year-over-year basis. But clearly, as we see, even with our most recent State of the Channel report, and everybody wants that, you can get it either on our website or shoot me an email. I can get it to you. But about 50% of MSPs we talk to, and this is about a survey of about 1,500 MSPs globally, said that up to 99% of their clients will be up in the cloud in the next 3 years. So clearly this is the shift, right? We're seeing this across the board, whatever decision you're making. But I think the conversation now really needs to be that shared responsibility model that we've been talking about for years on the Microsoft 365 piece applies to Azure as well. And when we first released this a couple of years back, I honestly, based on the feedback I was getting at the booth for years, this thing was going to fly off the shelves. This is what the channel had been asking for. And to be completely transparent, it has been a slow growth, much slower than we had projected. And so we did some analytics to figure out what is going on. Is it because the technology isn't working properly? Is it because of the cost? So we go through Salesforce and we look at what the reason for a close lost is. And the vast majority, close to 90% of MSPs told us it wasn't a good fit for their clients, which makes me think that we're mirroring exactly where we were back in 2015. Because when you look at what the SLA says, it's very interesting. When you go in and look at the SLA for Azure, if you've got the standard package, they're guaranteeing 95% uptime. Looks good before any sort of service credits. That 5% downtime could be 37 hours of downtime per month. Put this statistic in front of your clients and say, this is the reason. Just as for years and years, we've had to back up this server and we followed the 3-2-1 model of that backup. This data, even though it lives in Azure, needs to be looked at in the same way. You don't want that single point of failure, same as you would with that common, Windows-based on-premise server, right? You want to have that 3-2-1 model, 3 different copies of your data, 2 different formats, and at least one of them being off-site. And so you look at the challenges of what this looks like in terms of, what Azure offers natively, or what some of the third party, offerings might be. Obviously you want to protect your clients, but ultimately, I mean, at the end of the day, you guys are business owners. And for years and years, you're making revenue off of that on-premise data, both backing it up, protecting it. We saw the same exact thing when that shift went from Exchange servers up to Microsoft 365, razor thin margins, right? So what do you do to replace that as a business owner? Well, obviously you should be protecting this data. You should be backing up this data. And now you could actually shift the spend to say, we still need to back up that data. And the way it works is very simple. If you're familiar with the Datto Cirrus platform, it looks and mirrors it pretty much exactly in terms of how you're going to manage this device. The data lives in our tenant, within Azure, and then subsequently gets sent off to those data centers, right? Military grade encryption. If you're not familiar with our data centers, we protect over an exabyte of data. So it really is going to have the same functionality as what we're seeing with an on-premise server, right? So in terms of your techs understanding it, if they've already been managing that, or they have in a previous life, and they will understand how to do that. And so the next hurdle is cost, right? People talk about cost. And what we've done is made a flat fee. So there's no egress fees, right? This is going to be your cost. So now you know what kind of margin you're building into it without having to go back to your client with extra add-ons every here and there, right? This was actually one of the bigger holdups that we had. It wasn't that the technology wasn't ready 3-4 years ago. It was trying to figure out how we were going to price this. And then the other options, if you were to try to do it just through Azure Backup and Azure Site Recovery, when you start adding up all the different add-ons that you need to have to make this an apples to apples comparison, it's actually less expensive than the native Azure BCDR solution that's out there. So again, just as you want to build everything else into your managed services package, that's how we tried to price this, right? Flat fee, no egress fees, all of these things. You're still going to get the same functionality in terms of screenshot verification, all the reporting that you need, the backup reporting, failures, successful backups, all of those different types of things to be able to provide to your clients the same type of service that you have with that on-premise data. So those are the three real main talking points to this. You want to be able to protect that data, treat it as if it's on-premise data. You want to make sure that there's margin opportunity there. And then obviously you're going to have the support behind Datto throughout the whole process, from the sales, the marketing team, the tech support team, and all of those go-to-market messages. You want MDF money, that's where my team would come in. If you want to do a lunch and learn, we've done a few of those this year with this being a specific topic. Going in there and saying, okay, you have this data, it needs to be looked at in the same way. We talk about the shared responsibility model. We show that SLA so that the clients really understand why it is that this data needs to be backed up. So please reach out. We've got some testimonials. Siva's a great partner of ours that was able to do that and really accelerate their growth in that stage. There's a million other partners that have been doing that as well. But we have that breakout session. If you do want to request a demo, there's the QR code there. I think I stayed under my 7 minutes, Matt. So I will turn it back over to you.
Yeah, 20 seconds to spare. Thanks, Mike. Have a great holiday.
All right.
Excellent work. So we're going to bring Rich back up. It feels like it has been a crazy year. It is insane to me to think that 2024 is basically one weekend away. In a lot of ways, it feels like this year was 10, but it also feels like it flew by. Rich, I saw you everywhere. When it comes to events, how many events did you and Matt attend this year?
So in my case, this was actually a light year for me. When I was at Channel Pro, I was good for 30, 35 shows a year. This year, I think I went to 18, and it'll be like 2022 next year, I'm thinking.
Excellent. Before we get to Matt for the big reveal, MSPs, make sure that you are filling out the poll. It is up for 2 minutes. And remember, you have to participate in the poll to get that $15 gift card. So Matt, what is the grand total for you? I swear you're at the airport more than I'm at most places.
I know. I was doing the math, but people still think I'm like on the road all the time. And I guess from normal standards, I am. But yeah, to Rich's point, I mean, I think when I was at ID Agent, my record was like 45 the one particular year, which was, I mean, I don't even know how I stayed married that year, but like, I think 18 to 22, somewhere in that. It was right in that range this year. So, and I think it'll probably be similar this year. So yeah, I don't get to as many regional events as I did back in the ID Agent days, but still, it's a lot of travel. I was still able to hit hit my Marriott rewards that I needed to get to.
That was going to be my next question.
I
Are you
know.
guys both triple diamond, platinum, elite plus?
Well, yes, for now. Don't even get me started on Delta. Delta flyers, no, the rules are changing. It's not good. But for now, I'm still platinum there.
Yeah, I in this last event at GrowCon, I hit the Titanium Elite for Marriott, so I got that status back. Hilton, I pay with the credit card to get that status, and Southwest, I've got Companion Pass for at least one more year. So,
well, we'll see what 2024 brings. If you are trying to plan out your next year or even your next couple of weeks, we do have the most comprehensive industry event calendar down to the webinar level on our website. I know this is one of your favorite features, Matt. So do you want to do the honors of doing the overview?
I don't have the numbers in front of me. I don't think so. In terms of the how many total events that were added to that.
All right, I know what the number is. Perhaps. So we are working on a draft of our year in review. And according to the numbers that I have, we have added 947 events to the industry event calendar this year.
Yeah.
Matt, we're slackers.
I know, apparently. Yeah. No, but it's one of the, and I know we're going to go on to the next speaker here in a second, but one of the neat things is one of the recent updates that we had on the industry calendar is you can now sort and filter by categories or companies, but more specifically your state and city. So it's a real opportunity to see what's happening in the space locally. There's a lot of vendors are leaning into their own road shows and kind of lunch and learn, so you can get a nice steak lunch at your local Ruth Chris steakhouse. And but yeah, you can really keep track of that stuff now with that industry calendar. So,
and now you don't have to fight Delta for your elite points either. It's right in your backyard.
Exactly. All right. So Kelly, you want to do the next intro for?
Absolutely. We're going to move it right along. We'll hear back from Rich after our next little break. So next up, we have Jen Green, the product marketing director at Vade. Jen is a dynamic product marketing director at Vade, where she has expertise in go-to-market strategy, product launch, and marketing strategy. All of her skills have been instrumental in where Vade is today, and we're looking forward to your pitch. So why don't you take us away, Jen?
Awesome. Well, thank you. Hi, my name is Jen. I'm the product marketing director. And today I'll be telling you about Vade for M365. It's our powerful AI-based email security platform built specifically with the needs of MSPs in mind. First, a little background on Vade. We were founded in 2009, and we're a global company with offices all over the world. We've been around a long time and have thousands of customers of all sizes all over the globe. Here in North America, we sell exclusively through the channel, and we have dedicated resources to support our MSP partners. Every year, we win awards for our technology, most recently 20 G2 awards, along with several for innovation. Our platform is unique in that we emphasize a collaboration between the technology powering our email security, user-generated reports, and our team of security analysts continually revising and updating the algorithms. This combination is powerful enough to catch email threats that other platforms miss. Where other platforms rely on URL engines and third-party data reporting, we've built our own. We don't just regurgitate the findings from other scanners, we are a primary source of that data. This means we can regularly catch new and emerging attacks that other filters don't even know to look for yet. You can learn more about some of the novel and unique attacks we've detected by reading the attack and analysis articles published in the blog section of our website. The ability to detect these emerging threats comes from the sheer quantity of data that feeds our algorithms. We license our IP-protected filtering to some of the largest ISPs in the world. You likely recognize some of the names on this slide, names like Comcast and Yahoo. We're able to offer MSPs some of the most advanced email security on the market, in large part because our algorithms are trained with data from over 1.4 billion mailboxes. That's billion with a B. In addition, we're not limited to just one region. That's global data. The reports and data from emerging threats in one part of the world inform our filter to look for it everywhere. Going back to those emerging threats, this is how we're often able to catch them before other solutions even know they should look for them. So, the specifics of Vade for M365. What is it exactly? Our platform delivers powerful protection against phishing, malware, and dedicated spear phishing attacks. Our specialty is in catching those threats that bypass other filters. Any baseline filter can catch the common Nigerian print scam, but you need something more advanced to catch those clever spear phishing emails that ask your customers to reply right away with a money order or with PayPal gift cards. Does your current email security provider leverage natural language processing to detect social engineering attacks? We do. Vade for M365 does this while prioritizing features that make it easy for MSPs to manage more clients and spend less time doing so. We have a simple dashboard, easy multi-tenant remediation, and automated contextual training with our Threat Coach program. Should a user interact with a malicious email, you can follow up with a bite-sized training module to help train them on what to look for and how they should respond. The training is contextual and specific to the user's actions, so they are educated on precisely the risks that they are most vulnerable to. The automated Threat Coach training is included for free with the Vade for M365 platform. So you can pass the savings on to your end clients as a free upgrade, or use it to generate another stream of revenue as an upgrade tier to your services. Vade for M365 has native API-driven architecture that sits inside the Office environment thanks to our native integration with the Microsoft Graph API. There's no change to your MX record, there's no server migration, there's no sandboxing. Instead of canceling out the Exchange Online protection, Vade is able to use its full functionalities. Emails passed through the EOP are filtered once based on reputation and known threats, and then a second time by our behavioral algorithms and AI. Importantly, functioning in this way keeps Vade invisible to hackers, so they won't know they even need to try and get around us. Here, you can see the reported emails in the dashboard view. This is an aggregated view of user-reported emails in a single interface. It's your single pane of glass. Admins can set alerts for user-reported emails, quickly investigate them, and remediate both user-reported emails and similar messages that have yet to be reported. In addition, this action will remediate emails that have been forwarded to other users. And best of all, you can remediate all of your tenants at once. There's no need to click into each client portal and resolve your reported emails. It's one click, you're done. With all that, it's easy to see why it's worth it to choose Vade. We've taken the data and the power trusted by the world's largest ISPs, and we've built it into a platform that's tailored for MSPs like you. This means significantly less time on tool. Our MSP partners spend about 30 minutes per month managing email security with Vade. Compared to the 40 hours a month reported to us prior to switching, we're giving our MSPs an entire work week back. What could you do with an extra week? We offer free training and certifications to help you and your teams succeed in getting the most out of our platform. At Vade, we're invested in helping your business succeed. In the breakout session, you'll be able to meet with Justin, our customer success lead, and he's one of the best on our team at partnering with our MSPs to help them scale and grow their business. If you'd like to learn more, I invite you to join us in the breakout room to enter the raffle for a $500 Amazon gift card. You can request a demo, learn more, or just jump right into a free trial through our website, vadesecure.com. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day. That's it.
Yeah, with a minute to spare. Thank you, Jen. Appreciate it. Happy holidays.
You too.
Thanks. All right. Oh, sorry, I think let's bring Rich up here as well. All right, so the polls should be going up as well right now, so you can fill out your information. All right, so Vade is in the cybersecurity space. So Rich, we recently put out a technology map. There's all the different technologies in the space, that sell to MSPs, and cybersecurity alone deserves its own map, essentially. And I know we're going to do a version of it because it's so overwhelming. Any just kind of general insights on, kind of the changing landscape of cybersecurity and how MSPs can even deal with it?
Yeah, well, I mean, a few thoughts. So first of all, this has been a hot market, a growth market in the managed services world for a while. That is going to continue. According to recent estimates from Gartner, security spending will rise 14% next year. That's versus 8% for IT spending overall. So it's going to be outpacing the market for another year. And you kind of framed it exactly the right way, Matt, in terms of how MSPs can kind of deal with all that, because I think what a lot of them are dealing with right now is a lot of threats, a lot of alerts coming to them from a lot of tools. The cyber insurance companies increasingly require either explicitly require managed detection and response or some kind of 24/7 monitoring that most MSPs can't do on their own. And so all of this is feeding into a big trend that I'm seeing in the security market and that I've written about recently at Channelholic, which is just the rise of MDR services, managed detection and response services. Just within the past few weeks, we've seen WatchGuard and SonicWall introduce those SonicWall bot solutions granted to get into the MDR space. And it's because MSPs really need that assistance. I mean, there's this huge sort of talent gap. If you think finding a help desk tech is hard, finding a security expert that you can afford is even harder. And for all these reasons, you've just got to outsource that workload. And that's why MDR is a big deal right now.
Yeah. Yeah. We were lucky enough, Solutions Granted came on right on an Engage event, right as they announced it. And we're like, Kelly and I were backstage. We're like, are we supposed to bring this up?
Yeah.
We just kept
we were like, is he going to
shut.
say it? Is he going to say it? And he said it.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
But yeah, Rich, from talking to MSPs, and obviously channel program is an asset for this as well, but and I don't mean this wasn't meant to be self-serving. How can they differentiate? When the cybersecurity space is getting so repetitive and things like that, how can an MSP evaluate multiple technologies at this point?
Well, evaluating multiple technologies is very hard, and that is why that is an area where you guys help a lot by giving people a place to kind of digest information about a lot of companies in a very quick, informative kind of format. Differentiating is difficult, but there are still opportunities out there. I mean, if you have a well-designed, multi-layered stack, there is a real chance that you're going to be competing with people who haven't really added, security awareness training, or they're not doing EDR yet. If you can paint a picture of having a more complete, blanket of protection for your customers, that can still be differentiating out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we are out of time for this segment. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our third speaker of the day. So we're going to be hearing from Bobby Lin, the co-founder and CEO of Zest MSP. Bobby is known for his extensive experience in creating organizations, including his previous role as co-founder and president of Lime Tree Labs. With a passion for service and delivery and a deep love for the MSP space, and he's a great guy. He brings a wealth of knowledge from his time in both small business and Fortune 500 companies. So Bobby, the stage is yours.
All right, thanks. Bobby, CEO of Zest MSP, Zest for short. We are a PSA, new PSA in the market. I just want to bring up our UI and our sexy look, and just nice and clean and also simple. The main thing that we try to provide is a simple way for you to work in your MSP and to be able to do the things that you need to, other than spending all your time in your PSA or a bunch of time in tools when you should be working on your business. Our background, founders for Zest, we have over 30 years of experience in this industry. For us, we never found a good PSA out there that worked for us. It was always missing something or wasn't specific to the MSP industry, which is a big deal, as we all know. It's hard to make a decision, like we just heard, especially with the industry and the different awards. And it's so vendor driven at times that it's hard to really be able to make a decision and be able to see what's different out there. And the other thing too is all the things that we looked at, solutions we were trying to find were bloated and outdated. And it seemed like they only worked for, massive MSPs, 5% of the industry, and they were expensive. And of course had those grisly chains of a contract that it's always terrible to work through. For Zest, we like to make sure that you as an MSP are growing through service delivery. We know we all know that really that is how you grow and scale in this industry. It's growth through service delivery. Sprinkle some sales and marketing in there, but that's where most of it's going to come from. And so we want to make sure that Zest is a PSA that helps you manage the business of service delivery. With Zest, you'll quickly know if your customers are good, if everything is going well with their IT environment. Current solutions right now are thick with complexity. It takes a lot of time and resources to be able to manage them and work through them, and it's continual. It's just over and over. Again, we are a simple solution that helps you cut through all of that and lets you focus on what you should, which is your customers, your tech training, and your employees, and your overall strategy of your business. That's what you're able to focus on. Zest is ready to go right out of the box, very fast onboarding and ready to go reports. Just use it and you have all the reports at your fingertips. There's just not a lot of setup or anything that you need to do. And going forward, there's not a lot that you need to do to be able to use Zest. We like to think of it as a complexity killer. We feel that most PSA softwares out there are over-engineered, hodgepodge of capabilities. They often require complex configuration conducted by specialists to become usable. So we all know, hey, quit complaining, just go hire somebody for 50 or 60K to come in and set it up for you. And as MSPs, we all know that's ridiculous. It's not real. It doesn't work. And so Zest was built on the premise that a PSA should be tailored to the needs of the MSP managers and technicians. It should be working day one right out of the box. Take the pain out of your MSP. Make sure that tracking your client health is easy. Make sure that tracking technician work is easy. Most technicians just hate working in their PSA. And so minimize that. That's what we've worked towards, to make something simple that minimizes the pain of working in your PSA. Again, some visibility into Zest. This is our dash bar. This is one of our shining stars. It is within the dash bar. You see it on every screen that you're in. If everything's all green, you know that everything is going well with your customers, with your SLA, your tickets, your tasks. It's all going well if everything's green. It becomes gamified in that way. It's Christmas time right now, so you'll hear a lot of technicians, the MSPs that are using Zest will say, no Christmas lights, keep it all green. But your dash bar lets you keep track of your new tickets, overdue tasks, tickets near SLA failure, your average urgency score, which is unique to Zest, trademarked in there, and then also your customer health to know how your customers are doing. Are you keeping in touch and have a relationship with your customers? Zest helps you do that. The work feed is automated. It pulls up your top 3 tickets or tasks, things that you need to do, the most important things that you need to get done. So instead of looking at a long list of 50 tickets that you have to do or 50 items to do, all that kind of stuff, we hide all that, and you've got your 3 most important that pop up that you need to do. It's a dynamic list. And we have found that customers of Zest MSPs using this, their ticket metrics across the board improve by just using the work feed. Just clear out your work feed. And we find that techs and engineers are a lot happier working in that way. And the solution we feel is, with Zest is it has everything in there for your business. You track your employee time, profitability, and it helps you enforce your business process. Really, with time tracking, it's a big one in Zest. You want to be able to know where all your time is going, just because it helps your customers, it helps you make decisions. And it's ridiculously easy to track time in Zest. Of course, and then why Zest? The 3 legs of the stool helps you with business management, customer management, employee management, all those things that you as an owner of an MSP need to know, or if you're managing an MSP, all the things that will help you to be able to keep the customers happy and keep everyone on the same page. And so just a couple of testimonials. It's true. We're moving as fast as we can to find a replacement for, and I took that out. As important of a decision as it is, I've been thoroughly displeased with the PSA market. Zest is absolutely a refreshing experience, even if it's a new platform. I think you guys have the right idea, the same frame of mind as we do. And then also from Havana Joe, Zest has quickly become a partner in my small business. This is a must-have tool if you are an MSP. So join us in the breakout room. We tell all of the people who are using Zest, become a Dragon Slayer, no contracts, no minimums, great pricing, and just get rid of the complexity in your business. Love the channel program. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Bobby. Happy holidays as well. All
Thanks for
right,
joining
so
us.
yeah, so that poll will go up. Again, we'll bring Rich back up on stage.
Yes, and a reminder that your chats are confidential. It's a great way to secure your anonymity. So we can't see it, the vendors can't see it. It's just with our producer. So just a reminder. And, I feel like you can't get a group of professionals together in 2023 without talking about the two sexiest letters in the English language, which is AI. We're talking about how it will affect your life, how it will affect your business. So, Rich, what are you seeing out there? What is the impact going to be on our industry?
Well, what I'm seeing in short are both threats and opportunities, right? So let's just kind of talk threats first. So ISACA, it's a membership organization for the security profession. They went out and did some research earlier this year. And it was something like 28% of organizations in the survey said that they explicitly give their employees permission to use generative AI at work. 41% suspect that employees are probably using it anyway, and another 35% said they weren't sure. Spoiler alert, they're all using it, right? Like everybody's using it. And yet, according to this same survey, only 10% of organizations out there right now have an AI policy, and only 6% are providing any kind of AI training to their employees. So those are the threats that are pretty obvious. If you don't know what people are doing, you don't know where the data is going, that's a problem. It's also an opportunity, right? Like I had a chance earlier this year to talk about this issue with Jay McBain from Canalys. And he said it's going to be a while before MSPs have a recurring revenue generating AI related service. There aren't a lot of SMBs in particular right now paying anyone to maintain their large language model on a monthly basis. This kind of thing will happen, but it'll be a little while. But there are immediate near-term opportunities implied by what I was just talking about. If your customers don't have a policy, help them get one. If they're not providing training, provide that. I think Microsoft Copilot is going to be a big story in 2024. Your customers are going to be really interested in that system. How do I use it? Show me ways to use it. Teach my employees to use it. That's a service that you can provide right now, even if it isn't a recurring revenue service, although potentially you could structure it that way. There's a revenue opportunity there.
Absolutely. And, there's the business side, but then there's also the fun side. I know, Matt, you have some interesting applications of AI in your life too.
Yeah, I'll come to the fun side in a second. But I just like real world example though. It's nothing like groundbreaking, but I had to reply to a tough email with a vendor, and I knew what I wanted to say, but I did want to be like empathetic in my response, and I had ChatGPT assist me in framing it, and what it put together, and you make adjustments and whatever, but I was like, wow, this is a fantastic email. It got to all the points that I wanted to make, but did it in a really professional / empathetic way, and it was just really effective. So that's just something that you can use it for on a daily basis. My wife and I are actually planning a holiday dinner. So we're hosting Christmas for me, it's the first time ever. And we just didn't know what to do as far as food. And so she's like, why don't you just put in ChatGPT? So it was like, all right, ChatGPT, we have 17 people coming over, and, gave it a couple of little instructions, and man, it pumped out an awesome menu with recipes to boot, like in seconds. It was unbelievable. So just a fun way to use it. And Rich, you look like you wanted to chime in there.
No, I'm using it too. Not for holiday recipes and so on, but it's handy. I do a blog, and I don't have a copy editor. Well, AI is great at finding my typos, right? And I need graphics and art, and I often have like a particular idea in mind of something that I want to use. And I'm good with words. I'm terrible with art, but I can now generate images on the fly
Yeah.
prompt, through DALL-E. It's kind of amazing. So, and that obviously scratches the surface.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's crazy
All
to
right.
think what we'll be talking about on this topic in a year. So stay tuned
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah. All right, Kelly, you want to do our final intro of the day?
Whew, I cannot believe we are at our last presentation for 2023. So let's get into it. It's crazy. So our final presenter today is Darren Catan, CEO of ImmiBot. So Darren co-founded the company as an extension of Immense Networks, a venture he started with Brett Esquivel, his longtime friend since the 7th grade. That is so sweet. I did not know that nugget. So as our final presenter today, take it away. Bring us home.
All right, let's do this thing. Okay, we're here to talk about setting up computers. Let me get out the gate. What is our ask here? The ask is $400 a month. You can set up unlimited new computers. It's month to month, cancel anytime. The idea here is we're trying to get our foot in the door. ImmiBot is insanely capable, and you're going to see momentarily. I'm going to just kind of give you a quick visual. This is how ImmiBot sets a computer up. It goes through, it looks at everything that you have assigned to your customers, which could come from agreements in your PSA. It reaches out to Microsoft to figure out what licensing needs to be on machines, and it configures the software that it sets up. I'm focused on new computers because it's a very time-consuming process, and let's face it, it should be a solved problem by now, right? Let's do the easy stuff right. Let's get new computers set up for our customers correctly in 2024, and let me help you. Okay, what makes ImmiBot different? We're not owned by Kaseya. What makes us different is one, we work with your RMM, we work with your PSA. So this isn't a situation where I'm telling you, hey, you've got to go and rip out this other thing. I keep the price low and I say, you could get this one problem solved. We're going to install that RMM agent for you. We're going to install the appropriate threat locker or SentinelOne or whatever for you. We've got API integrations with all of those tools, and the configuration is minimal. And in summary, with that, we use it ourselves, right? We built this out of necessity. Necessity is the mother of invention. And when I went to Automation Nation in 2016 and realized that everyone was using their RMMs to literally build the same thing, it was like, okay, this needs to be centralized, and that's what we did. So instead of selling you a bucket of Legos to build out all of these scripts yourself, well, we build it for you. We maintain this massive catalog, and we have, I think today, over 1,088 different pieces of software that we support. The video that we have running in the background is a more comprehensive view of what it is that ImmiBot does, and I've got some annotations here pointing out that we're not only going to install your VPN client, but we're going to configure it for you, because it's worthless to install a VPN if you don't actually plug in the profile, right? Things like that. If you have QuickBooks, we're going to plug the license in for you. We can update QuickBooks. You don't have to give people a local admin. So that's sort of like the idea, right? Like, we want to be your like next gen sort of automation tool. So moving on from here, the thing you really need to think about when you're saying, oh, well, my RMM can do this or Intune can do this. Well, yeah, maybe you can make it do that, but are you paying your automation guys to write the same scripts as the MSP down the street? And can you get a leg up on them by using something like ImmiBot that is truly next gen, right? So stop buying Legos. We're all building the same thing. And Intune is never going to be able to install ThreatLocker because your customer pays you for ThreatLocker, right? We've got that sort of tie-in. We understand how the MSP industry works. Credibility piece. Okay, launched in 2020. You can see our growth rate here. As of today, we have 544 MSPs. We're not VC or PE backed. We're profitable, and our customer size ranges from 100 to 30,000 endpoints. I've got some quotes here from some of we have a fanatical customer base. I mean, if you get into our Discord channel, it's insane. But here are some of my favorite quotes that people have shared. When they have to go back to their old tools to do things, I mean, it's you're living in a different world, So our roadmap, we're doing Azure AD migrations now. I replaced ProfWiz. The guy pissed me off, so I made my own. That's just built in. So if you're trying to get those servers out of the closet, get rid of that domain controller, you run that with IMI, and on Monday morning, the user logs in and all their stuff's there, and they have no idea that you migrated them to Azure AD. Remote control is currently in preview, so you can actually remote into computers using ImiBot now. You don't need to use the Screen Connect tie-in if you don't want to. New user provisioning and licensing is on the roadmap. We're going to be allowing you to autopilot directly to ImiBot. We're going to essentially replace Intune. That's kind of my end game, is to sell this to Microsoft as what Intune should have been, as like an alternative for partners. And offboarding support. You're decommissioning a computer. We're going to reach into SentinelOne. We're going to reach in your API. We're going to retire those agents for you, so you're not continuously paying for those licenses. We're going to update agreements for you as you offboard machines, and we're finally, big thing, allow customers to log in and do self-service tasks themselves. I need this optional software, kind of like the SCCM app catalog. That's where we're going with that. So call to action. Here's your New Year's resolution. Automate computer setups. I want you to send an email to your greenest tech. Do not put me on the phone with your nerdiest guy who knows PowerShell. I love to talk to him, but if I can turn your brand new tech into a rock star and he can start churning out a dozen machines a day on the bench because of this ImiBot thing he spent a week working on, that's a bigger value add to you. And then I'll nerd out with the PowerShell guy you've got later. All right. I just know how this goes down. Get that guy to go sign up for the trial of ImiBot. Let him own it. Don't try to do it yourself, and let him do it, and you'll see the value. Let him pitch it to you. All right. I think that's it. Oh yeah, that's me and Brett. We back in 7th grade when we started this whole thing. So that's it. That's all I got. I'm done.
Awesome. Thanks, Darren. Appreciate it.
I love the
All right.
photo. That's a nice
Yeah.
touch.
All right, we're gonna bring Rich back up. That final poll will be going up. Hey man, we say cut out the fluff, and I think Darren cut out the fluff there. So
Seriously, we are under an hour. We're moving everything along.
yeah. So I know we're gonna kind of get into some end of year things, but just as a final reminder, this will be your final poll for the speakers. Then there will be a vote, a poll that comes up right after, that is asking who you thought delivered the best pitch, best presentation, however you want to refer to it. So go ahead and vote for that as well. And then once we've wrapped things up, your screen will change over, and you'll be able to go into the different breakouts based on the different speakers and their logos. So again, you can go into multiple breakouts. Kelly, do you want to break down one more time the incentives that are going around?
I would love to, and I'm jealous that you all can take advantage of this because they're really nice incentives. So ImiBot is giving a $20 Starbucks gift card for every attendee in their breakout room. Zest MSP, you'll get 2 months of a free subscription with no limit on user counts. Vade is giving away a $500 Amazon gift card. I could do a lot of damage with that. And Datto is giving away a $150 Amazon gift card. Both of those are raffles. So make sure that you go over there. You do give away your anonymity when you join, just so that you're aware, but you can go to as many as that you would like to take advantage of these really nice gifts from our attendees today.
Absolutely. All right. So Kelly, before I go to yours, because I know you're going to share some stats, Rich, going into 2024, what things you have on in your world going on?
Well, we talked about two of them, obviously, security and AI. I guess the other things that I'm thinking about a little bit is, the economy. And the good news there basically is almost regardless of what happened, it should be okay for the folks in this audience here. I mean, it appears like we might actually have pulled off the miraculous soft landing, economically speaking. But, if we have, and people are feeling more optimistic about the future, they're going to spend more on technology. If we do enter into a recession and businesses are looking for a way to do more with less and be more productive, that's going to result in automation and technology investments as well. So I'm not too worried about how the economy impacts the industry, but it will be interesting to watch. And then the other thing is the M&A landscape, which has been ice cold for vendors. ever since interest rates went up. But it's actually continued to be reasonably good for MSPs, at least if you're doing like $1 million or better in EBITDA. And so now, like just within the last few days, we've seen some indications that maybe interest rates will come down a little bit in 2024, and that should loosen up, the M&A landscape even a little bit more. So could be a good year. If you're thinking about an exit, next year could be an easier year to do that than this one.
Absolutely. And Rich, again, anybody really should be following you if they're involved in this space on your Channelholic newsletter. You're one of the few true news reporters in this industry. So I can't give you more than 2 thumbs up. So, but
I have 2 more.
Yeah, there we go. So definitely go follow Rich. And Rich, thank you so much for being our guest host today.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for the kind words too.
Absolutely. All right, Kelly. So let's close things down. I know you're going to show a couple stats real quick, and then we'll let everybody into the breakouts.
Absolutely. I'll make it quick. This is just a draft preview for you guys who are here. It's been an incredible year at Channel Program, and everybody who's watching here is a part of that. So thank you for your continued support. There's a lot of really cool stats in here. Since Navistack launched in August, MSPs have added 15,000 products to it. And my favorite stat on here is that the largest Navistack build has 146 solutions in there. So if you ever wondered why Navistack is important, I personally don't want to chase 146 different vendors. There is a better way, and it's here with us. So thank you guys for being a part of Channel Program all year long. It's been an incredible year.
Yeah, and I will give Datto a shout out since they're here. They were the most searched term in the platform this year. So kudos to the team over at Datto. And let's shut it down. And again, your screen is going to change here in about 5 seconds, and you'll be able to jump into the breakouts. Thank you all so much, and have a wonderful 2024.